Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another DC comic review. And in this we are reviewing some milestones, and we are reviewing issue 3 of Static through Milestone. As you can see here, I actually quite like the cover. And does this cover in any way, shape or form sort of connect to something that is inside the story? Sure enough, it bloody does. So, first thing to start off with, the cover raising. And yes, this cover does actually cover something that does happen in the story. I really like how Virgil is done here, or Static Shock is done here. I really like the costume of how it's done in this particular story, or for this particular part. But I will sort of share something a little bit later on in regards to the story, to which you do get to see happen with Virgil. But I prefer this costume over a little change that sort of happens in the story with the costume. So for the cover rating, a 7 out of 10. So it's a good beginning for this. So time to move into the internal art. So jumping into the beginning of the story, well, this isn't actually the first page, but it's sort of like the second page. And we start off with Virgil, who ended up leaving one of his teacher's houses, and he's made his way to Hardware Secret Stash, which it states that it's at near Dakota Airport. I really like the art in this, and this is just at the beginning, as there's quite a lot happening. And you can sort of see what's sort of happening here with the costume that I sort of don't like that much. But I can sort of understand what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to keep the character stealthy. Now it's time to move to the middle of the story. As we jump towards the middle of the story, I can't tell, is this meant to be Virgil or someone else? Because I really don't like the costume. And this is Virgil with Mr. Dawkins, or Mr. Hawkins, I think, if I remember, that's his old man. Putting in some hard work around the home. And now to move towards the end. And last but not least, moving towards the end of the story, to which we have Virgil returning to the school. And we encounter Francis, to which, if you read the beginning of the book, you actually see Francis, and it looks like he also makes a bit of a deal as well, to which the character, spoiler, regains his name as Hot Streak. So, jumping into the next thing, the rating for the art. To be honest, I really enjoyed some of the art in this, and also how some of the art tried to transition some of the areas of the story, to which I gave the art a 6.5 out of 10. Jumping into the story and the actual story rating, did it provide any comic references? No, it didn't, but it needs to do that. I'm glad that there's only 6 issues to this, though, and I think it should only stick to 6 issues. If you really want to pick up some real good Static, I would recommend you pick up the Milestone Compendium that's coming out through DC Comics. And it's got a whole lot of Static in there. Plus, it covers a lot of the milestone characters. Definitely pick that up over some of this. In regards to time, how did it address time in the story? We only got it sort of addressed once, and it was, to be bluntly honest, it was bloody lazy. Like, it was a lazy attempt of sort of like pointing out what time it was throughout the day, and all we were given was later. Well, seeing Virgil and Francis are meant to be attending the same school, wouldn't it hurt to include, say, maybe 10 a.m. first period, something like that, just to help? It wouldn't hurt the story. And if you were really clever enough, you could actually include what class that they were doing. None of that was shown. It destroys some credibility to the story, but where did it sort of make up from? Now, areas that it did make up on, well, there's only one location that it did point out. And I felt that this was lazy too, because it could have included the Hawkins family home, to which Virgil lives. It could have included the name of the, like showing back to the name of the school again, even though we have like seen that in previous issues. It should have been included again in this issue. And Vita, as much as I've enjoyed reviewing this so far, the strongest points that are coming out of this are actually some of the cover art and some of the internal art. And jumping into the last thing, the cast. We didn't get a lot of members in regards to the cast this time around. Of course, we caught up with some of Virgil's friends. We had Francis at the beginning, who we saw at the beginning of the story, but we had no idea where the hell he was. And it wouldn't have hurt to include that, where he was, even though he is meant to be Virgil's rival or Virgil's enemy. We had Daisy, and we of course had Mr. Hawkins, his old man. We didn't even get the name of the teacher to which she was going to class to towards the end of the story. So it really lacked in a lot of the cast of characters, to which I gave this story an overall a 6.5 out of 10. I really hope this story picks up towards the end, because I'd hate to give it a really low scoring when it reaches issue 6. Well, until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.